Good morning, everybody. It was kind of a weird morning. I got up to come out here and it was raining. So I did one of those things where, you know what, I'm going to wait. Nah, I'm just going to go out and do it. So I went to take a step outside to feed the animals just to get it over with. And it poured and it poured for about 2 minutes. And it was done. And now, what do we got? Another infamous shot of blue sky. All right. You know what? Sometimes patience is a virtue. Just wait a little bit longer and all of a sudden it all clears out. And that's what happened. Well, in the meantime, though, I happened to sit down and take a look at our gospel lesson that's coming up on Sunday, and it's an interesting one. It's a lesson in which Jesus is finishing up his ministry. Not really finishing, but according to Matthew, it's like a little bit of a pause. He comes to an end and he gathers his disciples around him and he says, look at this. You look like a bunch of sheep without a shepherd. The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Pray to God that he'll send out laborers. Oh, hey, by the way, that's you guys. Boom! And now he sends his disciples, now apostles, ones who are sent. All right, so what's the big deal? The big deal is they are going out and doing the exact same thing that Jesus was doing. It's the exact same words used back in chapter 4 that describe Jesus' ministry when he first started. After his baptism, after the temptation accounts, out he goes. And now he's sending his disciples. Now he sends us. But he says a very strange thing in there that kind of took me back at first. Then the more I thought about it, the more powerful it becomes, especially in our day and age. He said, don't go to any of those Gentile cities. Go only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Now, I can look at that, and maybe you can too, and say, what are you doing, Jesus? You're discriminating. You're only picking out one group of people. What's that all about? Jesus is not saying all lives don't matter. What Jesus is saying is we've got to start someplace, and where we start is at home with our people, getting them on board with this message, getting them back into the realm of trusting God and God's kingdom. It's not a matter of all lives don't matter. It's a matter of we've got to take care of these people. And once we do that, when we get to the end of the Gospel of Matthew, what does Jesus tell his disciples? Go therefore to all people, all nations, not just the Jews, everybody. Sometimes you have to start in a particular place. Sometimes you have to start with a targeted audience. That's exactly what Jesus was doing with his disciples. And I think that's something we can keep in mind with the things that are happening around us now in this nation. Sometimes we need to focus. And when people say Black Lives Matter, they're not saying the rest of you don't. What they're saying is, folks, there's trouble abroad. There's trouble brewing here. We need to focus. We need to take a deeper look at what's happening in our society. We need to work on this area. Let's do it together, because truly it is all lives matter. But sometimes you got to start somewhere. There's a whole lot more to this gospel message. We'll be talking about it all week long. But when it's all said and done, every single one of us is created in that image of God. We've said it time and time and time again. Each and every one of us has a place in the choir. Yeah, that was a song we talked about. All God's creatures got a place in the choir. Let's love one another. Let's look after one another. Let's care for the least among us. Because when Jesus looked at his disciples and those around him, he said something very telling. As you've cared for the least of these, my people, you have cared for me. God's blessings be with you as we go out there and minister to the lost sheep. Have a great day.